So once you have shifts, let's create some reports based on that. And we're going to use the same tool that we have been editing shifts in. And for this example, I'm going to, for simplicity, I'm going to restore the old shifts I had before. I'm going to copy and paste like that. And now I want to build a report for 3 machines for the first 4 days of this week. And I can do a selection like this, select which machines and shifts I want to use. And if I go to the report tab, I can now see my selection is reflected in the checkboxes here on shifts and machines. So I can select only the first 2 machines, and then I might want to use 1 more machine. I can check them like this. So I choose the machines and the shifts, and then I can choose the time interval. Right now it's what you see on the graph, but I can modify it to only include the first 4 days. And then we have a time split option, which you can, instead of creating a report for the whole interval, you can create reports for sub-intervals, day by day, week by week, and month by month. Yeah, and also year by year. But since we have very small data now, I'm going to split it day by day. And if you have night shifts, as we talked about before, you now have 2 options to account for that. One option is this day of offset day start, which means that when we split this report into day slots, instead of splitting at midnight, we can split at 6 o'clock in the morning. But if you don't use that or want to split at midnight, we change it to 0. The other option is to specify how shifts that pass midnight should be broken up. And you have 3 options. The first option is to have, if you have a night shift like this, and it spans the whole interval until the morning. The first option is to split the night shift into 2, like this. Now, this means that when you create a report for Monday, only the data up until midnight is included in the night shift report, and on Tuesday, the after midnight work is recorded there. Now you don't have to do it manually as I did here. It will be done automatically when the report is generated, if you have the option to break shifts on the time interval, which means the midnight, or what the day offset may be. Another option is to include the entire shift starting on the interval, which means that night shift starts on Monday, which means that the report for Monday will include all data for the whole shift that goes into Tuesday. Now let's create this report. I'm selecting few machines, checking 1 more, and I have checked the list of shifts looks okay. I split by day, and we use the interval shown here in the view. At the bottom we have status filters, and the only option that needs to be checked and should be checked is change stop codes. Otherwise, the other options are not needed in normal operations. I click the create report button, and it creates the report, and we can see here now. You can see that the table has columns for each day and sub-columns for each shift. And you have 1 machine and the 3 stop codes for that one. I'm going to show you a little bit now how to work and modify this report. First of all, let's say we have columns for days and then subcolumns for shifts, which we can see in the left sidebar on these two blocks. We have the time period, which is the days, and we have the shift afterwards. If I want to switch places between these two, I can drag one and drop it onto the other, and now they have switched places. That means we divide the columns first by shift and then by day. This way you can follow the morning shift day by day and the afternoon shift separately day by day. You can also hide some columns. For example, you don't want to show total every shift. You can uncheck it. You click once on the block here and uncheck the total. Or you might want to do the opposite, only show the total like this. And now to create this report, I selected 3 machines, but we only see one machine here right now. We see the text here, machines Svarv. We can scroll through each machine. So we have one page for each machine and one page for the total of all machines. And this is because we have machines here in pages. Now I can drag this down and place it under rows. And now we have main row, stop code, and then sub row for each machine. And then, since it doesn't fit everything in one page, we can scroll here on the top and scroll and see how it changes. Each separate stop code changes over time. Typically you don't edit this layout too often. You create one that you want to use every time, and then you can give it a name. We can see it here in the presets. I have a long list of presets I have made before, which means I can quickly navigate between them to whichever I want to use. And if you have created one, let's modify one, and let's say we have this shift, but we also want to see machine and shift. So I drag down shift below here. So now you can see how each machine has been going day by day and shift by shift. And to save this, I give it a new name in the box and click save. So next time you create a report, you can find the demo 2 here in the list of layouts. Finally, this can be exported to Excel. So the data you see here, you can export from the menu here to the top left, print export. We export to Excel, click save, and now we have a demo 2 that we can open. And here you get the data you can work with for further processing. So that's the report tool in MUR-Shift and Report. And we have another report tool, which is the web report. And it can create somewhat similar reports, but much simpler, that we see here. So you find it in the web interface on report and status report. And here you can select machine, what shifts to include, and then you can choose a time interval. For example, I want to use the first 4 days of the week, and I click generate report. And then we have one page per machine that summarizes the utilization, the availability of the machine, as well as the stop codes, like this. And if you want to have some more information, you can check the box here that says stop count and mean length. Then you get a few extra columns to show not only the time spent on setup, but also the number of times spent on setup and the average time. This is very high stop count for 4 days, which means the mean is close to 0. But you will basically get the mean time value here for setup. And also this report includes comments for the period. So if operators has placed comments in MUR terminal, those will show up at the end of each report. Right now it says no comments, but let's go to the machine. Okay, we have 1 comment today. So if I change the report interval to include today's date, we also get that comment that was placed at 10 o'clock in the morning.